Yeah, so let's start our discussion. Let me throw some light on integration testing because it was done before midsem, and then we got a kind of break of 1.5 or 2 weeks, and we had covered your black box testing and white box testing in detail, and then we had a small discussion on integration testing as well. So let me quickly throw some light on it, and then we are going to take our discussion forward. So basically, integration is the set of interactions among the components, right? As far as your integration is concerned, so let's say there are several modules, right? M1, M2, M3. This is for the entire software product, right? And there can be uh, n modules for a particular products, right? So in that case, what I have is like there will be like these modules will be communicating with each other, right? And this can be a one-way communication, or it can be your two-way communication. So in that case, I need to test that whatever has been, whatever the information exchange is taking place, it's taking place correctly or not. So I need to take care of that. For that sake, uh, I'll go ahead with this kind of setup, right? So these uh, communication between these two steps will be considered. So coming back to your integration testing, basically, in case of integration testing, what we do is that the individual modules are initially combined, and then it is tested. And the idea behind this is to evaluate the compliance of a system or component with some specified functional requirements. And since we, from this previous discussion, we got to know that this will be definitely after unit testing, because each and every individual modules uh, are not tested. So in order to check the interfaces, we are going to do this. So this is something which is done after your unit testing, and before your, any idea, before your system testing, right? So because in system testing, I'll deal the entire system as a whole. So in that case, it would be like before system testing and after your unit testing. And your integration testing basically takes the modules that have been unit tested, and we group them in larger aggregate, and we apply the tests defi- defined in your integration test plan. So my approach will be like I'll be going ahead with several options that I'll cover. It can be your Big Bang approach. It can be your uh, you know uh, mixed approach, which is also called as your sandwich, or I can have a top-down approach or a bottom approach. That depends on what kind of strategy I am going to follow. So now let's see basically what we are trying to say is that integration testing is nothing but the interaction between the modules and your interaction with other systems externally. That would be called as your integration testing. And for this, I need to have at least two components, right? At least two of the components are available, then we go ahead with your integration testing. Now if suppose I don't have two uh, components, then I take help of stubs and drivers. And if I'm not wrong, I've given you the homework of studying about the stubs and drivers, but anyways, I'll cover formally as well. So I need to have at least two components of the product, and all the defined interaction among the components of the product needs to be tested, right? So if suppose, let's say I have like two modules, m1 and m2. So this m1 might be sending some request in a form of, any, or maybe it's passing on some values, and m2 will be responding back, right? So in that case, I need to check whether this thing works well, this thing works well. That's nothing but the part of integration testing. Now, in this, what we have is a final integration testing, where what we do is, like, we test all the components of the product are ready, then your testers go for final integration. So initially, let's say I have m1, m2, and let's say mn. In the initial part, if suppose, let's say m2 is not ready, then I can deal with one stub or a driver for it, and then I can go ahead with integration testing. But your final integration testing starts only when all the components are ready, because now I'll not deal with these stubs and drivers. These are like the alternatives, right? When there is a non-availability of some components, then I'll go ahead with your final integration testing. Now, these are some of the objectives of integration testing. The idea is to find the interface fault and to ensure the correct working of the integrated modules. Because I've integrated the product, so I need to ensure that, okay, now everything is. So, this can enforce probable parallel development of modules, because the reason being, let's say, if suppose I have, let's say, several modules, so parallelly I can go ahead with the interface testing with the help of stubs and drivers also, even if the product is not ready in that case. Now, this is the classification of integration testing. So in this, what we do is that we can go ahead with incremental integration testing, or I can go ahead with non-incremental integration testing. So in this, your incremental, in the case of incremental integration testing, it expands the set of integrated modules progressively, one by one, right? And in case of non-incremental testing, random combination is done, right? So in case of incremental, I'll wait, if m1 is there, I'll wait for m2 and then m3. In case of non-incremental, let's say there is an interaction between m1 m3, let's go ahead with this. M2 is not ready, then also it doesn't matter. Getting this? I hope I'm making sense. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
okay, great. Now, so your integration order can be modified to, like, if suppose I have like some critical modules which I have to deliver based on my deadlines. So definitely, what I can do is that I can include the critical modules first, and then I can take care of the rest of the things, or else I can leave the modules which are not ready to the later stage. So that kind of options also I have. Now, these are some of the techniques which we are going to cover, and these techniques, you know, are something which I, feel very interesting as far as your black box testing is concerned. So I can go ahead with one is, like, as I discussed previously, I can go ahead with your top-down integration, or else I can go ahead with bottom-up integration. I can go ahead with the bi-directional integration, which is also called as sandwich. Sandwich, why? Because it works from both the direction. And then I can go ahead with the system integration, which is your big bang integration, and then we have like your FIT as well, which is your final integration testing, and all the modules are ready. So let's take this particular scenario where I have like these components, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this, these components are in the order of, incremental order of delivery. So in this case, what we have is like, in case of top-down integration, what we are doing is, right, we went for testing this 1 and 2. We went for 1 and 3, 1 and 4. That means, let me erase these things. So we went for this, then this, and then this. Now it is ready. Now we'll go ahead with testing this. So idea is to ensure this because we have already tested this. Afterwards, right, we went for 1, 2, this. Afterwards, I'll go ahead with this. I'll go ahead with this. I'll go ahead with this kind of direction, right? So what we have is after 1 to 5, I went for 1, 3, 6. I went for 1, 3, 6, 7, 1, 3, 6, and 3, 7. The reason being, this is something which is common and I already covered in step 5. In 7th, I'll go ahead with 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 6. So 1, 2, 5 already covered in step 4. 1, 3, 6 already covered in this, and 3, 7. So idea is that this time I've tested this one, right? I have tested this one with the help of this. So that means I went for this. And obviously the last part will be the entire one. So in that case, I went for 148 because this was something which was left. So 148 we have done. Now 8th component is ready. So 148 is done. Now combine everything and test it. So we are testing this, we are testing this. So top down, sequential. It's previously we saw, right? We went for incremental integration testing. This clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, post this, what we have is uh, bottom-up integration. What we have, obviously, what we'll do is we'll do the reverse of it. All the components available with us, right? And so what we have done is we went for 1, 2, 1 and 5. We went for 2, 6, and 3, 6. 2, 6, and 3, 6 because I took this kind of setup because I know we are going from bottom up and I have this availability. If I've done 2636, I'll go for 2636 combined, just like in your top-down integration also, 2636 combined. That means this as a whole, just to ensure that we have further added uh, this now. Instead of individually testing this, what we have done is we've combined it in order to check that okay, this particular thing is also working well or not. Then we have like 4, 7 and 1, 5. Once we have done this, now we are done left with this, we are left with this, we are left with this. So what we are doing is we went for 4, 7, 1, 5, 8. So 2, 6, 3, 6, and 8, the middle part, 2, 6, 3, 6, and 8 in order to test this particular thing. Now we have like 4, 7, 8, the last one, and the entire one in the last step, right, which is your 8th. That's how we go ahead with bottom up, just the reverse of it. And in the next part, which is your bidirectional, what we do is, as we said, that bidirectional is something which is also called as sandwich because we are going ahead with integration testing with from both the directions. So what we're doing is we took this step 6-2, right? We went for testing this, and 734 tested this, and 8-5 tested this, and the combined one. So looking at this step, like what we are doing is that we have drastically reduced the number of test cases, right? So if suppose I have like I have to deliver the product in a very short span of time, in that case I prefer going ahead with this kind of setup. Now, the last, you can say that before the final integration testing, we are going for system or the Big Bang integration. So, what we do is all the components of the systems are integrated and tested as a single unit. So, your system integration is a part of all the three methodologies which are discussed below, because what we do here is we'll simply, I have the same setup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in this, what we are going to do is uh, we'll test the interface 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the combined one. This is the final step. This I have shown that okay, this is just because of the unit testing which is done afterwards. We went for individually testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then we've done the integration part, and we've tested the entire product. Now the next thing is yeah, so this can be like individually unit testing of this, combine it and test it. Right. That's how we go ahead with your Big Bang integration testing. Now, these are some of the advantages of system testing, right? So, but before that, let me throw some more light on this. See, one thing which one needs to know is that the lowest level components are tested first in case of your bottom up testing, and then they are used to facilitate the testing of higher level components. From this diagram, you might have got this idea. And in fact, looking at this gives you a clear cut picture. So, and this process is repeated until the component at the top of the hierarchy is tested. That means the eighth module we have reached. So all the bottom or low level modules, procedures, and your functions, these things are integrated, and then we go ahead with testing. And your in case of integration of lower level components, we integrated, tested. That means the next level of modules will be formed and can be used for your integration testing. So this particular approach basically becomes very handy when almost all the modules of same development are ready, same development level are ready. So this method also helps to determine the levels of the software developed, because see, I can see that okay, these are the level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So we got the idea. Highest level, the moment we reach the highest level, we are done with it, right? Look at this and this finally. And in case of in case of your Big Bang, so most of the developed modules are coupled together, right? Coupled, and we form the complete software system, or the major part of the system, and then we go ahead with integration testing. So this method is like very effective for saving time in the integration testing process. But the problem is that if the test cases and their results are not recorded properly, your entire integration process will be more complicated, and may prevent the testing team from achieving the goal of integration testing. In fact, we may miss to, or we may lose some information in the form of some information, in the sense that we may, you can say that we may miss to uncover some of the defects, because what we are doing is like we're directly reaching this level, right? Instead of going ahead with uh, looking for all these small steps. So many times we may miss to cover the defects as well. So these are some of the benefits of system testing, where what we have is like we achieve optimization. Optimization, right? We have optimized the overall entire process, and then what we do is that overall we have drastically reduced the testing time, right? Compared to any other technique. So there, what we see is that lot amount of effort is given in each and every step, but in case of your system testing, it's like done at the end, right? So system testing, that means I'm talking about your Big Bang approach. So reducing the testing effort and removing the duplication in testing, right? In case of this part, there is a lot amount of duplication. Right? 2.6 already tested. Why to add here? So these things are removed in this particular case. So integrate all the components in one go and test for only once. That's the major advantage in this case. Now, the next thing is that there are like several drawbacks of this system testing. So, as I said previously, that if suppose failure occurs, then it becomes difficult to locate the errors. If suppose failure occurs, then it becomes difficult to locate the errors. Then your debug cycle may eat away a lot of time as your interface testing. That means your first three techniques were consuming a lot amount of time. That's once again it's something which is not feasible, and this needs to be done again. This is done at the end, so release date is close, and hence developers may compromise on the quality of the product. Right at the end, I'm approaching the deadline. I'm about to release the product. I have to release the product on time. So in that case, you know, quality issues we may come across the quality issues as well, right? So that kind of problem is also there. Now, uh, any doubts up till now? Any doubts up till now? Yes or no? Okay, then let's take our discussion forward. So how to select the integration testing? So if suppose I have like clear requirements and clear design, go ahead with sorry, go ahead with top-down approach because everything is clear, right? So when things are clear, I can take some risks as well. And when we have like dynamically changing requirements, I have dynamic, frequent changes in the design and architecture. Go ahead with bottom-up approach. In case of changing architecture but stable design, I'll go ahead with bidirectional because at least I have the design stable, but there are some minor changes in the architecture. Now, limited changes to existing architecture with less impact. I know there are possibilities of almost no to very limited changes. Let's go ahead with system. Then combination of the above, select one of the above after careful analysis. Now this is your client server integration, which is like two-tier architecture. So what I have is like clients, and your server. Right. So here comes the role of stubs and drivers. Now, can anyone tell me now? I gave you the homework as well. What are stubs? What are drivers? What are stubs and drivers? So basically, what happens is, let's say, if suppose I have this kind of setup and this module is not ready, so I'll replace it with either stub or driver. So, in other words, your stubs and drivers are basically the elements which are equivalent to do modules that could be replaced if suppose your modules are in the developing stage or missing or not developed stage. So I'll introduce either with stubs or with drivers. In case of stubs, basically stubs are developed by your software developers to replace sorry, the modules, if the respective modules aren't developed or missing or in developing stage. And so basically your stub simulates the modules which has all the capabilities of unavailable module. And stubs are used at the lower level module for replacing the lower level modules. And what it does is like basically, stubs are divided into four categories, like which can be like, which shows the traced message, which shows the display message, right? So for all these things, and in case of drivers, drivers are used when high level modules are missing and can be used when lower level modules are also missing. So in both the cases I can go ahead with it. So basically, in other words, if I try to explain you in other words, so stub is basically a replica of a module that collects the data and develops many possible data. However, it executes like an actual module and is basically used to test the module. So generally, stubs are created by software developers in order to use them instead of modules if the particular modules are missing or are in the development stage or yet to be developed, right? But these, stubs are basically, the test engineers can simulate the performance of the lower level modules which are not yet joined with the software, and it can accelerate the activity of the missing modules as well. In case of drivers, so basically the driver establishes the test environments and takes care of the communication, estimates the results, and also sends the report. So these are just like the stuffs which are used by software test engineers in order to accomplish the missing or the incomplete or you know under the development modules. So basically, in case of bottom approach or incremental test integration, we go ahead with drivers, and these drivers are, since report generation and other part are also a part of it. So basically, these are drivers are comparatively much more complex than your stubs, and these can test the lower levels of the code when the upper level modules or codes are not developed or let's say under development. So what we can have is like page, right? So I can uh, come up with or I can have a home page. I can come up with a stub or driver for the respective part. Now, so next what we have is uh, in case of client server integration, what I can do is I can test each client with stubs for the server. I that means this is not ready, so I'll come up with a stub for it. Then other possibility, test the server with stubs for each client types, right? If suppose I need to test the servers, so I for each client I'll have a stub. Test the pairs of client type with the actual server. That means server may have stubs for the other clients. Remove all stubs and test the server with clients. That's another possibility. Now, next is a three-tier system, right? So what we have in this is that on this side I have client, I have a middle tier, additionally. So it is making it a three-tier system, and then I have a server here. I have a server here. So in this case, what I can do is that I can test each client with stubs for the server and with the availability of the middle tier, and I can test the server with stubs for each client type and the middle tier. I can test each client with middle tier and server proxy. Then I can test the server with the middle tier and the client proxy. I can have a client as a proxy. Or lastly, I can test the clients with middle tier and your actual server as well. So this is another possibility. Now, after this integration testing, another thing which we can consider is that I can have a scenario testing, right? In case of scenario, okay, any idea with this term scenario? Any idea with this term scenario? Any input? Any rough idea which you are getting from this thing? I hope you guys are here only. Any idea from this term?
So depending on the scenarios, the previous
Yeah.
scenarios, like
So yeah, here we look for the real life scenario, that how the application is going to behave when it will be in the real life scenario, right? So in this case, what we do is what we have is like we have set of realistic user activities, right? From the slides only you might have got the idea that we're dealing with the set of realistic user activities that are used for evaluating the product. So I have like two things. I have two methods to evolve the scenarios. One is your system scenario. Another one is your use case scenario. From the use case term, what idea you get? What are use case or use cases? What are use case? Use cases from any idea from that use case activity diagram? Any idea from the use case activity diagram? Okay, any idea about use cases?
so where it is required.
Recall your DFDs, ERDs, use case activity diagrams. From there, we used to get the use cases. In your software engineering course, you have done this. Anyways. So, uh, in case of your system scenario testing, what we have is uh, we create the scenarios, and the point is like how to create the scenarios. One is like I have the storyline, so I can develop a storyline that combines various activities of the product. Then I have like life cycle or the state transitions. So in this, what we do is like we consider an object, we derive the different transitions or modifications that can happen to the object, and then we derive the scenarios to cover them. Then we have like development or implementation details from the customer, and then we have like business verticals. So what we do in business verticals is we visualize how a product or the software will be applied to different business verticals and create a set of activities as scenarios, for example, your insurance or life sciences. Then we have like battleground scenarios where we create some scenarios to justify that the product works, and some scenarios to try and break the system to justify that the product doesn't work. Right? So we look for both the cases, that okay, whether product is working or not, or whether the product breaks down. Right? So we look for all those scenarios in this case. So this can be your use case. Let's say I have to get a check cleared. So this actor goes right, or uh, the real life character, right? So the actor goes and gives the check to the banker, right? What banker does is banker fires a query in order to check whether the signature matches. If signature matches, then whether the account holder has that particular amount. I mean, whether the account holder can withdraw this much amount or not. Then your system will be responding back whether it is available or not. If available, this banker will give give the cash. So this is the use case, right? So we what we are doing is right now we are talking about, let's say, the banking application. So in this we got to know that okay, there is a possibility, right, where we have an application for the banking services, and then the entire check clearance process is taking place. Now, in this case, we got to know that okay, this is the real life scenario, and the next thing will be like I'll have to come up with the use case scenarios. Right, I'll have to come up with use case scenarios. So here I'll have like actor, and then I'll have how the system is going to respond. So user would like to withdraw the cash and insert the card in ATM machine, and system will request for password, or system is going to request for PIN. Then user fills in the password or PIN, right? So this process, right, everyone does when someone tries to withdraw money from your ATM. So validation of the password or PIN takes place and gives a list containing the type of account, whether it is saving or current account. Then user selects the account type, and then your system will ask for the amount which you want to withdraw. Post which user will fill the amount of cash required, and then this system will check the availability of the fund, will update the balance, will prepare the receipt, will dispense the cash. User will retrieve the cash from the ATM and will print the receipt. Right. So this is your use case scenario which we have drawn, which we have written for the ATM uh, software. So in this, the entire process is depicted in case of in with the help of actors, and how the system is going to respond based on the kind of requests the user has made. Now this was about use case scenarios, and this is a reference which I have followed. Now, any doubts up till now? Any doubts on the topics which we have covered today? Let's now have the doubt session on the topics which we have covered till now in today's class, or even if you have some previous doubt, then also we can have a discussion on that as well. Any doubts? Okay, Siddharth. Anyone else?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Fine. So this was all about integration testing, and then in our next class we'll talk about system testing, and we'll take our discussion forward. See you then. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.